In most cases, locals can identify a tourist in a matter of seconds. It is possible for visitors to accidentally give off a mood that might invite unwelcome attention based on their conduct and apparel. If you want to avoid upsetting a local or making their lives more difficult, making an effort to blend in is one of the best ways to do it. However, in certain parts of the world, one must be able to pass unnoticed to avoid danger. Make use of these pointers to prevent appearing like a typical tourist on your next vacation, regardless of whether you're going to a foreign nation or New York City for the first time. Number 1. Do your research and make yourself familiar with the country you visit. Familiarizing oneself with the nation's traditions, history, and recent happenings is essential. Having a background check on the place you're visiting is always beneficial. Not only is it an indication of respect, but it will also assist you in participating in conversation. If you are aware of the things you should and should not do, as well as any common taboos you should steer clear of, you can reduce the likelihood that you may accidentally insult the natives. Keep an eye out for any ongoing discrimination problems, both so you won't be caught off guard and so you'll know when to keep quiet. Number 2. Learn phrases you'll often run into. It is not feasible to become fluent in the language of the country or region you are visiting, but it is possible to acquire a few words that will help you appear less of a tourist. Become familiar with the fundamental signs and the standard manners utilized there. For those who find themselves in Cairo, become familiar with the character of the pyramids, and the bus stop will make navigating the city's public transportation system a breeze. It goes without saying that you will garner significant savings there. Number 3. Become acquainted with the location to which you will be traveling. Before departing for an unfamiliar location, it is a good idea to equip yourself with maps and guidebooks and research online to acquire a sense of your surroundings. If you have established an itinerary, you should either write it down in your guidebook or print it out so that you can start to have a sense of where you'll be traveling each day. It's easy to conceal the fact that you're lost in public if you have a map with pins saved on your phone. All you have to do is peek at your phone and no one will realize that you aren't texting or reading your email. Also, get to know the areas of town you would rather avoid, such as the illegal party scene or the unsafe side of the city, so you can avoid going there. Number 4. Ensure that you are appropriately attired at all times. Find out how the city's residents you'll be visiting typically dress when they're out and about in public. The most vital thing to consider when getting dressed is to imitate how the locals dress and avoid donning anything they would not. A European visitor will almost always be seen wearing an athletic outfit, with trousers and shoes that zip off the legs. Find out what people in the area wear for different settings, including hats and other accessories, and prepare your bag accordingly. To blend in with the locals typically means avoiding wearing clothes labeled as being intended for visitors. If you're a citizen of the United States traveling outside of the country, you should steer clear of anything that communicates "I'm not from here," such as branded or patriotic items. You should leave the hats, backpacks, and fanny packs at home. Number 5. When seeking direction, exercise prudence in your questions. Avoiding staring at a map or street signs while cocking your head to read them is the most effective way to prevent the impression that you're disorientated. If you feel you may be lost, find a spot to sit down and look at a map or inquire with a cashier or a security officer about the best way to proceed. Try not to freak out in any way. If you cannot solve the problem using the tools at your disposal, remain calm and look for someone who can help you. Number 6. If you have the opportunity, consider using a less traveled route. It doesn't matter where you're going, it's best to avoid traveling during the year's busiest seasons. When most visitors are absent from a location, it is far more pleasant to visit that location. When you travel in the shoulder season, you may get much better deals on airfare and accommodation. Hungry? Visit a cozy cafe specializing in the local area's cuisine rather than going to a chain restaurant serving quick meals. Avoid doing what the other visitors do if you want an authentic experience. Number 7. Ask for assistance from the locals. You might want to think about approaching a friend or family member who already lives in the area and asking them to show you around and provide you with some advice. They will know exactly where to go, what to steer clear of, and what details should not be overlooked. If you don't know anybody, another option is to inquire with a hotel staff member or a tour guide about recommendations or hidden must-see spots in the area. Before you go, try to get as much information as possible, and then put that information to good use once you're there. If you don't stick out too much and try to blend in with the locals, people could think you were born there. Number 8. Stay out of the spotlight. Since you are a visitor, you are expected to behave politely and keep a low profile. Screaming across the bus to your companion or speaking loudly in your native language to someone who doesn't understand your speech won't make the locals more likely to enjoy your company. Likewise, shouting loudly in your native language won't help someone who doesn't comprehend your language. Be courteous and quiet when communicating. Large amounts of money should never be kept in public places and instead stored at a location that is protected from potential threats. Number 9. Eat and travel like a native. If you want to be with the natives, the best way to move around is to take public transport. You won't only save money, but you'll also have the appearance of fitting in better with your contemporaries. You should prepare in advance so you don't accidentally anger ordinary passengers by making mistakes with payments, transfers or stops. This might happen if you don't prepare correctly. Try going to a restaurant that is loved by the community rather than going to a chain restaurant. You should try to eat as many of the regional specialities as possible during your time there. Number 10. Be discreet when taking pictures. This one should be obvious, but dangling a bulky camera around your neck is not a good idea. Keep your camera in a bag while you're not using it. You can probably get away without carrying a huge camera bag if you're not a professional photographer. It's perhaps time to put aside the selfie stick in this society, preoccupied with taking selfies. They are not only annoying to the locals, but may also hinder you from having any meaningful interaction with the area's residents. Even if you wish to snap a few pictures to help you remember your trip, you should resist the temptation to live your holiday via the lens of a camera. Number 11. Relax and take in the scenery. Never cram as much as possible into your trip. Enjoy your preferred beverage and a leisurely meal outside while you kick back, unwind, and watch the world go by in front of you while you do so. Since you took the time to go and take everything in, you may expect a more restful night's sleep when you return to your house. If you use our many travel gear, you won't look like a typical tourist at all. Make yourself at home, be mindful of your surroundings, and make the most of the time you have off. Don't forget to buy travel insurance that is tailored to your particular requirements so that you may prevent any unpleasant surprises. When you travel for either business or pleasure, the ability to blend in and not look like a typical tourist is an absolute necessity. If you want to avoid seeming to be an alien in any nation, there are a few things you should always remember. Dressing like the people do and adhering to the area's traditions are things you should do regardless of how strange you find the practice to be. It is good to acquire some actual words in the language of different cultures so that one might have a better understanding of other civilizations. Keep those tips in mind the next time you start organizing an excursion outside the country. You will be able to have a good time in this manner without distracting from the extraordinary nature of the new culture that you are experiencing. So, are you confident enough that you won't feel like a tourist? If you think we forgot something, let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you again in the next video.